Hey there, everybody. Good evening. It's Roman Rich. This is Hooked on Route 66. This is one of our little test beds. I've always wanted to do this. I've been going up and down Route 66 for so long now, well over 12 or 14 years, and exploring Route 66, promoting Route 66, doing all sorts of things Route 66 related, research, photography, videos, promoting it on television shows, so on and so forth. I just thought it'd be cool to do my own little show right here on the internet. So here I am. Hooked on Route 66 is the name of the show. Helping me out here tonight is my friend George Dorr. He is the producer of the show. And we'll give him a little intro here. There's George. He's going to run things behind the scenes and hopefully do things smoothly. This is all, again, just a test bed. We are not professionals, but we're going to give it our best shot here. So bear with us while we grow the show, and I hope you enjoy it. All right, so this is an interactive program. It's not rehearsed. Feel free to chat at any time. George will see your little chat messages pop up, and if you have anything really cool and pertinent to say, we will try to introduce that into the show. All right. The show is probably going to run anywhere from, well, tonight it's going to run probably about 15 to 20 minutes. We're hoping to make the show roughly 30 to 45 minutes on a continual basis, more consistent basis, like weekly or bi-weekly, something like that. You know, just pay attention to Facebook and Twitter and my other feeds, and we'll have more details on that as we go along. Again, you can message in, send in your chats and stuff. But today's topic is going to be about the Shamrock Relighting Ceremony. We're going to revisit the Shamrock Court Neon Relighting Ceremony. And boy, I got to tell you, it was really an amazing turnout. It totally blew away all of my expectations. I think we had right around 350 people sign our guest list, our little log sheet that we had. I'd say probably a good conservative estimate was we had at least 400 visitors that night. And out of any relighting ceremony that I've attended on Route 66, it was by far the largest turnout I've ever seen. So for those of you that came out there and saw the Shamrock light up, you witnessed history. It was amazing, and it was really cool. All right, so we're going to talk about the Shamrock. We had people show up out there from as far away as California. I think we had one person register from Japan and some people from Canada. So it drew a crowd from all over the place. It was really awesome. We had a leprechaun. We had a flame-throwing car. We had all sorts of stuff. And so for those of you that don't know the Shamrock, let's go to a little clip online to see what the Shamrock looks like. Here it is right here, a postcard of the Shamrock. And this is an original postcard from 1948. And the building doesn't look really much different today than it does in this postcard. This was in Sullivan, Missouri. The Shamrock was built in 1948. It was owned just for a couple years by the original owners until about 1952, 53. And then it was purchased by the Weilands. And they owned it all the way up until their deaths. John Weiland died finally in 2009. Their sons inherited the building. They had it for about, until 2021. That's when I acquired the building with my wife. And we took on the task of doing restorations. We're still doing that today. Last weekend was the relighting ceremony. And I think next we probably ought to check out what that relighting ceremony looked like, what it was all about. So let's check out the sign relighting. Here's a clip from that. And this is brought to you by Dave Walden. It's a pretty good clip.
3, 2, 1. Yeah.
There you go. That's not the only thing that lights up. The motel itself lights up as well. As you can see, all along the edges of the motel, we've got neon green. So in addition to that, we We had a bunch of T-shirts that we sold for a campaign. Those you can still get. Everybody was out there wearing their cool green T-shirts. That was really cool. Let's see here. What else do we got? We had this mini museum, which I was really proud of myself. Let's go find that clip. So what we're looking at here in this image is a conglomerate of neon pieces that were found in one of our cleanup sessions that the Missouri Route 66 Association held. It doesn't mean anything. Those words aren't there to demonstrate anything. What you're seeing there is 3 individual pieces of neon that came from 3 separate signs that were located on the Shamrock property. The CO is from the Shamrock Court sign. That's the sign that we relit. Actually, we had the sign reproduced and relit this past Saturday. The TED sign that you see down here, that sign right there was a part of a different neon sign. It used to say motel, heated, and modern. That was another sign that was located on the property. And finally, this A was part of a completely different sign that said court and Shamrock. It was a huge neon sign that was located over on the corner of the property during that time period. We recovered those pieces in a restoration effort. We were cleaning up the property. We found a bunch of old neon, and believe it or not, they still light up today. So this will be a permanent fixture in a museum at the Shamrock Motor Court when we get to that point and we can actually open it up to the public. It's going to be about another 1.5 years, I think, until we get to that point to open the building up. So, George, what were some of your favorite things that you saw going on there at the Shamrock? George had a completely different perspective. He was the DJ and MC, and I was the guy running around with like a tail cut off. What was that?
I said I enjoyed everyone coming to look for you.
Yeah.
That was my favorite part.
Yeah, it was something else, wasn't it?
No, it was really cool. Everything was lighting up. There was way more people there than I know you imagined, but there was way more people than I imagined. My kids came down and they're like, "What are we doing? Relighting something?" And then we came down and the oldest kid was like, "Holy cow, there's so many people here." So it was super cool, super exciting to see everybody. Got a lot of people chiming in right now. Keep in mind, if you guys want to ask questions, we'll be doing a Q&A later. Pop those questions in the chat. We can see you. Elizabeth, Nolan, Matt Cow, we see you there. Billy Weiland says hi. So yeah, no, it was a good time, and I'm gonna let you go back to it.
Okay. Yeah, speaking of Billy Weiland, he's the one of the sons that sold us the property, and believe it or not, I learned something about Billy Saturday night. I think he missed his opportunity in life to be like an air traffic controller, because the man was out there directing all these cars coming in and coming out, making sure nobody got their cars parked into the Shamrock Court that didn't need to be in there, because we had that area reserved only for hot rods. In fact, I think we should probably take a look at some of that footage of people walking around with all the hot rods and stuff. Let's check that out real quick. Tons of people, tons of cool old cars, beautiful neon, just a great night for Route 66 in general. And Billy Weiland helped make that all possible. He got a lot of cool old cars in there. And this video comes to us from Paula Knoll. Thank you so much, Paula, for contributing that to the page. Moving on, again, thank you, Billy, for your contributions as the parking attendant that night. Him and his brother-in-law were shuttling people back and forth, and there were so many people that came. We had to park people down the street, and we had to move them back and forth in a van. It was something else. So let's talk about some of the other stuff going on at the Shamrock Motor Court. We had in that museum, in addition to the neon, we had all sorts of other stuff. We had these memorabilia from the rooms. We had pictures from the rooms. We had stationery, things like that. But one of the most interesting things that we had that we recovered from another cleanup was this odd looking stick right here. Now, I'm going to give you guys a moment to try to predict or think about what this was. And for those of you that weren't there at the relighting ceremony, this is a walking stick, but it is kind of a phallic walking stick. This is from a bull, and yeah, there's a good image right there. This is from a bull, and I'll just let you guess what part of the bull you think it's from, but this was Billy's mom's walking stick. Her name was Rose, and she used this to get around the Shamrock in her final years living there. And this will also be on display eventually at a permanent museum at the Shamrock once we get to that point. So that's a fun piece right there. People always get a kick out of that. It's pretty cool that we recovered it. Future work that's happening at the Shamrock. In case you're interested, we weren't able to do this without donations. That's one thing right there. So many people donated to our cause, and I got to give some props out to the GTO Club of St. Louis. They were very generous. They gave us about $1,000 roughly towards our neon sign. The Missouri Route 66 Association, their Neon Heritage Committee, also contributed about $1,000 to the sign, and that was very helpful. We raised a lot more money too for other things, and so some of those things that we're working towards right now, and we've already done the roof, so that one's a check mark on our big giant list. But we're doing electric, plumbing, all new electric, replacing all the concrete, flat work, sidewalks, and the breezeways. We're going to deal with paving the parking lot, putting in new storm drainage, new air conditioners. We are completely refurbishing this entire place, I got to tell you. And I'm down there like 2 and 3 times a week trying to get this place put together. For those of you that are going to be driving through Sullivan, if you happen to come through in the evening, it will be lit up every night, I promise you, unless something goes wrong like a power outage or something like that. But it's on a timer. It comes on at dusk, and it goes off at 12:30. So just 30 minutes after midnight, you can catch that sign lit up, and then it goes off to try to keep the neighbors from getting aggravated with us from our beautiful lights that we got out there. We're doing some other things too. We're talking about doing a tree carving and other stuff. Some of the other things that we're doing to raise money for the Shamrock is I have a few art projects that I'll be releasing. You can catch those on the website. Our website is www.shamrock66.com. You'll see all sorts of stuff there, history information, ways that you can contribute. You can donate there anytime. You can even donate on a monthly basis. It'll automatically come out if you choose to do that. And all those funds go right into the Shamrock project, and we appreciate them so much. We have some volunteer days coming up. We're going to be doing some work on the interior. That'll be happening here in April. So again, take a look at the Facebook pages, take a look at the website. All that will be on there. And if you want one of those cool shirts, maybe George can pop that up there. We've got just over a week to go on the t-shirt campaign. It was so popular that we had to get another campaign going. We sold right around 200 some odd shirts the first campaign. We had so many people calling us, emailing us, coming up to me going, I need a t-shirt, I need a t-shirt. This is your only way to get it, and this is your last chance to get it. There will not be another campaign. We've sold 80 t-shirts again, in addition to the first 240 something we sold 8 days ago. Don't wait, don't forget, do it now. Get on there, get your own t-shirt. You can find those on the Facebook page, and you can find them on the website, shamrock66.com. One last thing that I thought was really cool, in addition to the relighting, was we had this really cool car that showed up at the relighting. And see if I can pop that up here. Uh-oh. There we go. Let's see here. We had this really cool car show up, and it was a little brisk that night. It was kind of cool. We had a bonfire going, but wasn't warm enough. We had to get this guy out here to light up the night too, and it was pretty awesome. He went out there and lit that car up several times. Thank you so much for doing that. I think it probably kept people warm for a little bit. It was really neat. Okay, so that about wraps things up, I think, George. Did I miss anything?
I'm gonna pop in here while I'm going through. I just checked the chat. So John had a really good question. Let me take this out real fast. Will you be designing and selling some General Shamrock Court Motel shirts?
Yes, we will. These particular t-shirts were designed specifically for the neon relighting ceremony. They were a fundraiser just for the neon signage that we did, which we spent about $20,000 putting all that neon in at the building. And I will say we had some other donors too. We had the signpost donated to us. But yes, that shirt that we had was just for the neon, and we already have about 4 or 5 designs figured out. And by the way, all those designs were done by Shelley Graham, and she's a very accomplished author and artist, and she put together all those t-shirt designs. So if you'd like to know who did that, it was Ms. Shelley Graham. What George has up here, what we're showing right now, is some of the Shamrock Court signs that we found in our recovery efforts when we were doing cleanups at the site. And this particular sign is mounted to wood that was also recovered from the Shamrock. And that was part of a silent auction that we had at the relighting ceremony. Christopher and Andrea Briley were the winners of that sign, and I think they're very happy with it. I signed the sign, so did Billy. Billy right there featured to the right of your screen. He is the previous owner of the Shamrock. So happy that he was able to hand this down to my wife and I. So congratulations to Andrea and Christopher Briley for winning that sign at the silent auction. Okay, so I think
the pull of the awning.
The awnings. Thank you, George. I almost forgot. Do we have any pictures of the awnings? I don't think we do we? We probably should have thought about that before we went online.
Yeah, I don't have any at my disposal right now, so no, I don't think we do.
Well, okay, so this is what I have. Go ahead and pop my screen back up if you would, George.
Yep.
Here it comes. Okay. So if you can see my little bitty mouse, above each one of these doors is an aluminum awning. And they were pretty beat up. They've been there since at least 1950. I mean, so they're old and they're beat up. And so we had this poll, this vote, as to whether or not we should rebuild and reinstall those awnings. We took them all down. We had to when we did the roof. Or should we leave them off? I was kind of undecided because the awnings hide some of the natural characteristics of the architecture associated with the building. This is a natural stone building. And I also hit my head against the things. I'm about 6'4", and if I'm walking down the sidewalk and I'm not paying attention, I smack my head against the lower part of those awnings. So I was indifferent, but overwhelmingly, I think it was like 55 to 35 in favor of keeping the awnings. So we're going to look at that. We're going to try to rebuild them and reincorporate them into the new design of the Shamrock. And I think it'll be cool. I think it'll be really neat. Okay. So again, don't forget to visit shamrock66.com. If you have any questions about the Shamrock, send us comments. You can do so at the website. You can sign up for updates when we have email campaigns. You can also send me a private message if you want to, or drop a comment down below in this video. Let's see here. What else? If you have any viewer comments or questions, you can also send those. And I think it'd be really cool if you recorded your own little video asking me questions, and maybe I'll put you out here on one of these shows for everybody else to see. I think that'd be cool. So please think about that. Keep an eye on Facebook and Twitter. We'll have some updates there. Until then, I'm Roman Rich. As always, go your own way. I'll see you down the road.